What is up? You know who it is. It's your allies behind enemy lines. Ryan and Joey coming at you thoroughly behind enemy lines. Tell you what, Joey, I don't know how it is in Dallas, but right now it's a little dark, a little gloomy, a little dreary. It's raining right now. It's been cold all weekend. But I'll tell you what, the sun is shining, the birds are chirping. Music has never sounded so sweeter. Food has never tasted so better. So good, so better. I can't even talk. My English is all screwed up because things are just going pretty good right now. Joey, how about yourself, bub?
Yes, there is nothing quite like Victory Monday, except Victory Monday when you beat the Cowboys. So, I mean, that is even sweeter than sweet. That is sweeter than any candy that's out there. And the birds, they might be, screaming as their heads are getting ripped off, but it sounds like melodic sounds to me. Everything sounds beautiful. And that was not a pun aimed at Andy Dalton. That was not a pun aimed at all towards Andy Dalton. So just to get that out of the way. But yes, great feeling here. But we did what we were supposed to do. We did what we were supposed to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Some quick housekeeping, of course, as always. Like, rate, subscribe, review on Apple iTunes if you're listening to us there, if you haven't done so already. If you're a first-time viewer here on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscription button, ring that notification bell so you're updated every Monday and Friday when the new video drops, so you're always up to date on the latest and greatest when it comes to the Washington football team. But as we jump into it, yes, absolutely. Like you said, there's nothing quite like Victory Monday, except of a Victory Monday after beating up on Dallas. And then I'm gonna add a little extra layer to that cake. After absolutely shit kicking Dallas, that Victory Monday is even better. We eke out a 1 or 2 3-point win. Absolutely, that's great. A 5-point, 7-point win, even better. But when we just come out, take our belt off, and whip the Cowboys like a boy that stole something from the store, boy, oh boy, I'll tell you what, that feels so good. We actually absolutely put one on them. Like you said, we came out and took care of business, did what we were supposed to do, did what we needed to, took advantage of a JV football defense out there, and ran our offense, let Antonio Gibson kind of run things, pun fully intended, handed the ball off to him 20 times. All he did was gain 128 yards and, score a touchdown. That's good for a 6.4 average. Kyle Allen didn't have to do too much, made a couple key passes. He went 15 of 25, 194 yards, 2 tutties of his own. Only a QBR of 66.6. Shout out Lucifer. He, like I said, he did exactly what he needed to. He didn't have to do too much. That defensive line, when we were on the field, absolutely ate. We sacked Andy Dalton 6 or 8 times. Andy Dalton 5 times. Ben DiNucci, we sacked 3 times. Let me make sure I'm getting those numbers right. No, we had 6 sacks. Pardon me. So, yeah, it was 6 sacks, 3 times each. We sacked both guys 3 times each. That's what I said. I said anything less than 4 sacks was going to be a failure. And look, that we did exactly what we needed to. And I won't take too much juice. I just want to kind of, lead it in. But, Joey, go ahead and give me your thoughts after watching this total ass whooping that we laid on the Cowboys.
I mean, it should have been a shutout. The only reason they had those 3 points, it was a 3-and-out from a long kickoff return. I mean,
yep.
Mind you, we got an interception when they did make it their way to the red zone right before halftime when Cole Holcomb yesterday. I mean, that hit he laid on Ezekiel Elliott, the steamroll heard around the world. I thought it couldn't get any worse than when Matt Ioannidis threw him like a little child a few years ago. I don't remember if you remember that one.
Yeah.
But Ezekiel Elliott got smacked. I mean, it got me out of my chair. And that wasn't even the sack. It was just a hit on him as he attempted to block him. But that game, just like you said, upside down, inside out. Everybody played the way they were supposed to. Antonio Gibson got the ball. Scary Terry got the ball. Logan Thomas got the ball. Kyle Allen not only made the throws he needed to in key third down situations, he made the runs he needed to in key third down situations. You can call him a game manager squared because he's not going to go out there and light the stat sheet up, but he's going to get there and control the ball, control the offense. And that's what's key when you have a defense that's just going to go after offensive lines the way our defense was going after their offensive lines, is to control the clock, get them some rest after they've savagely destroyed for the last couple. They need to go out there and rest for a second, and our offense afforded him that luxury, with the great play by Cal. I mean, all the way around. I mean, who was that offensive tackle that started? Lucas? Was that Lucas?
I'll have to double check on that while you're talking.
Yeah,
I
but
think that's
Lucas
what it
and,
was.
and Schweitzer, I mean, I think that whole line just did a great job, and their defense was not beat up. Their defense was their defense. Mind you, they were the, ranked, I think last ranked defense going into the game. But still, those are some marquee players on that team that got held, at will to our lackluster offensive line, especially that left-handed side. But I was really impressed, with the ability to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. That's what we always talk about is winning the game in the trenches, and Washington did just that. And it's not a and I don't know a negative thing you can really say about the way they played yesterday, other than obviously the hit that John Bostic did lay on Andy Dalton, which is unfortunate. I don't think it was malicious, even though it was vicious. But and uncalled for. I think he did. He needs to sit out the rest of the game and get a fine to think about that a little bit much. Think about that a little bit. But again, other than that, I mean, great play by the defense, great play by the offense. It was just a great. I don't remember. I think it was been 30 years. I think I heard this morning 30 years since the Cowboys have only scored 3 points to a NFC East opponent. So it's been a while since they've taken a whooping like that in the division, and it's our biggest win against the Cowboys since 2005. Where we beat them. I remember that game, 35-7. That was our Great Williams defense just feasting. And I think we have now the 4th overall ranked defense coming out of that game now, and the number 1 against the pass. So our defense is on fire.
Yeah, no, you're right with that secondary. I mean, Kendall Fuller's right there in the lead for the league lead for interceptions. Cole Holcomb adds an interception yesterday again after he completely steamrolls Ezekiel Elliott, like we said yesterday, like we said earlier. And then back to the John Bostic thing. Obviously it is unfortunate that it happened. Agreed that I think it was dirty in nature, not malicious in intent, and I think you can have both things. I think you can have a dirty hit and it not be malicious. I don't think that was intent was to knock out Andy Dalton or anything like that. But he got what he needed to, what he deserved, which is an ejection. He'll probably get a fine. They said there isn't going to be a suspension, and I think that may have had something to do with the next thing I'm going to state, and that was something that I wish we would have done and we didn't. And I think this comes back to Ron Rivera. And now I think this could be twofold. Now, so let me explain. I think we absolutely should have. We could have scored more, and we should have scored more. And now, if you remember, I mentioned on Friday that I wasn't quite sure if Ron Rivera was going to be able to grasp the meaning behind what Dallas Week was, the rivalry, and everything, but behind that. Now, so that's kind of one of those things. It's one of those Ron Rivera things that hasn't put me fully in the riverboat for Riverboat Ron. I'm still kind of on the shore using my binoculars, taking a look to see how things are going out there before I fully jump aboard. But so that's the one thing that I could complain about, is we probably could have scored more points. But at the same time, if we didn't, because of the Andy Dalton hit, where it's like, hey, look, we had this dirty hit, knocked out your quarterback. Now we're going to run up the score on you. It's kind of like a double-edged sword or a double-edged something else that, it's getting you at both ends. So it's, so that I can kind of see. So that was kind of, so like I said, kind of a bummer to see. But going back to the actual game, Antonio Gibson looked really good. Our offensive line, like you said, as bad as that secondary and that defense is, their front four is still pretty good. Their front seven's still pretty good. You got Everson Griffin, Aldon Smith, Demarcus Lawrence. Demarcus Lawrence and Everson Griffin both had sacks. Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch are all playing. So, say what you will about that secondary, or excuse me, about that defense, but the front seven's not bad. They still have a bunch of, some dudes up there, but Antonio Gibson took the ball. He was running it up and down the field, very much so the first half, and had a great game. And I said this was going to be the game that he was going to have to kind of get things rolling. And I also said, if now it's unfortunate that Andy Dalton got injured, that whatever quarterback wasn't able to get it done, that team should probably cut him. Well, Kyle Allen was able to get it done. He was able to do enough, just what he needed to. Now, Andy Dalton, I'm not going to say cut him, because that dude's probably, got a pretty bad headache right now. So you can't do that. But at the same time, Andy Dalton's not the guy. If he can't get it done against this team, at least put a touchdown on the board. You know what I mean? Is he going to be the guy at all moving forward? So, and not I don't mean moving forward past this season, but for just this season, I don't think he's going to be the one.
No, I don't think either. I think they did pick up Gail Gilbert, didn't they?
Garrett Gilbert.
They call him Gail. Garrett.
That's his sister.
His sister Gail will probably do a better job than he will if he goes back there behind that offensive line, because she'll probably be able to scream and scare them away, because that offensive line was not doing any type of protection for the Red Rider yesterday, and or the Red Rocket as you like to call him. But yeah, that was a pretty nasty hit on him, and I think Mike McCarthy even said something about it in the press conference when asked about it. I don't know if you saw that. Asking if it was a dirty hit, which I think all agreed it's a dirty hit. Whether the intent was there is the argument there. But he did say that usually when that happens to your team, players in your team are going to rally around that and come back and start fighting. But he did not expect that type of response from his team. Basically saying they just laid over and played dead after that happened. Yeah. And so the turmoil in Dallas is real. Let me tell you, if it's not one thing, it's the next. And it just makes me think. The worst part about yesterday's win, I'm going to tell you the worst part about yesterday's win that kept haunting me was the fact that we went for 2 against the Giants, and right now we could be sitting 3-0 in the division and in first place. That's the only thing that's kind of gnawing at me right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that came to mind as well. After the thrilling game Thursday night that we saw, the kind of a weird finish there. If we beat the Giants like we're supposed to and play to win and not just go for the win as we went on that long diatribe last week, we're sitting pretty. We're sitting pretty in first place. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Ryan, you keep saying we're not equipped to win now. We shouldn't be trying to make the playoffs. We should be trying to get a playoff spot. Agreed. And I know, but guess what? Just as the tides turn, I kind of turn as well. I don't know what I want.
As the wind blows, we're Washington fans.
Exactly. I mean, it's like, look, I know whoever we play that first week if we made the playoffs in that wild card game, probably gonna smoke us pretty damn good, and we're gonna end up in the 20s for a playoff spot. But if there's a way for us to go 6-0 in the division and finish 6-10 and not win the division, that's what I want. So I'm just stuck in this purgatory of I don't want to win right now because we're not equipped to win right now, but also I want to win right now. You know what I mean? It's just the competitive nature in me. Just I can't handle losing, and especially can't handle losing to the friggin' Giants who stink. And and I was glad that we were able to take care of business against the Cowboys and put one on them here. Obviously we lose Landon Collins, it looks like, for possibly the year. He goes down with a non-contact injury. Before he does that, he has the strip sack that leads to the safety. And so, we were talking about maybe possibly trading him. Well, obviously that goes out the window. And we're not really quite sure what we can do or what we have outside of that, as far as adding pieces or getting rid of pieces, moving pieces to get some draft capital here. But all in all, like I said, I think we took care of business. We did exactly what we were supposed to. There was a couple times where guys were wide open. I think back to Logan Thomas first quarter. He had to catch up the sideline where there wasn't anybody within 15 yards of him. They just absolutely blew the coverage. Terry McLaurin just rolling right by Trevon Diggs after they were jawing at each other the play before. He just literally runs right by him. Kyle Allen puts a dot on him, floats it up for a touchdown. And Terry McLaurin said, I rocked him to sleep, baby, rocked him to sleep. Just went right by him and toasted him. It's tough for the Cowboys there because they couldn't answer back at all.
Yeah, that I think that the jaw jacking in that play, I think that was a setup, because it looked like Trevon Diggs was ready to make some contact. He looked like he was planted, and I'm sure Scary Terry made eye contact with him, like, let's get it, and he acted like he was going towards him, and then just ran right past him. And I swear that's what I thought. The first thought that came to my mind is he set that up. Well, if he did, that's hats off to Scary Terry, because not only did he do that, I don't know if you saw his locker room speech after the game.
Yeah,
where it shows he just kind of walk. You can tell he hasn't done that before, but he just felt what I like to call a burning desire, where he just had to say something, and he let himself do it, and it came out perfectly, because he did not come out overpowering, did not come out fake. He came out real, and I think that a lot of guys respected that. I know Ron respected that, and like you said, we weren't talking about playoffs or winning or tanking the season. We're talking about all different types of things. But one thing is for sure, and I think the Giants have proven it time and time again, is that when you get into those playoffs, who knows what happens? So if you can put yourself in a position, because who knows, by the time that year, who knows what team's got COVID, what team's standing up, what team has got any players on it. And we already showed, you get a team that has any type of, things not going that way, we will do what we're supposed to do, and we did it yesterday. So we can't beat the teams we're supposed to beat if you put us in there in the right mindset. And you know what? Kyle Allen, that was his, second start for us? Second? Yes. So, I mean, give the guy a break here. His first start, we were almost, should have won that game against the Giants. And I think he moved the ball well in that game. Second game, he did move the ball well. If he continues to improve like that, we got the softest part of our schedule coming up. After we got the Giants, I believe we have the Bengals, Lions, and then the Cowboys again. So those are 4 very winnable games, against teams that we could easily, turn the season around and not only be, the non-laughing stock, but could, just be like the chuckle talk, the chuckle talk of the NFL.
Yeah, you're right. We do come up to the softest part of our schedule. Unfortunately, after that, we see probably the toughest run of our schedule where we go Steelers, 49ers, Seahawks, before we finish up with the Panthers and Eagles. So, we definitely could win some ball games there. Come out if we can win those next 4 of the Giants, Lions, Bengals, Cowboys. Sitting at 6-5, then those next 3 are pretty tough. But everyone keeps saying, 6-10 is going to win this division. Hey, shit, maybe 7-9, 8-8 might actually have to win this division, depending on what the schedule looks like.
We win the next 4 games, that's 6 wins, and there we go.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. One thing I want to touch on: Tim Settle coming in, finishing, starting strong for Ioannidis, who's been out. He gets a sack. Chase Young doesn't really record a sack, but he impacts the game and affects the game in so many different ways. He's so athletic. He's so freakishly talented. The way he moves, the way he gets after the quarterback and just puts pressure on him. And there was a couple plays where he was double teamed and literally just threw guys off of him, like grown ass, big ass, full ass dudes just thrown off of him. And it's great to see. And he leads rookies in sacks. He hasn't gotten any the last couple games, since coming back from injury, but he impacts the game in such different ways that you don't always necessarily need for him to show up in the stat sheet or show up with those sack numbers for him to know that he impacted the game one way or the other. So that was good. Like I said, we did everything we needed to. We did exactly what we had to, and that was show that we are better than this team across from us. Show a little bit, again, what did we say last week? We got to see what direction we're heading. And I think this showed what direction this thing absolutely could be heading in. Now, again, against the Cowboys, against this lackluster defense, this worst defense in the league, I want to take it with a grain of salt. But, again, like we said, you have to win the you have to win the games you're supposed to, and that's exactly what we did here. So I'd say that's a positive in moving in the right direction.
Moving in the right direction, and you threw a couple names out there. I'm going to throw another one out there. Montez Sweat, who I think he is having a phenomenal season. And I think he left the game early to get with the concussion evaluation. So hopefully that comes back. I haven't heard anything after that. So hopefully he's all right. But he has been a freakish beast back there. And, the bookends of having him and Chase Young on either side, and then you have someone like Ryan Kerrigan who comes off the bench, in another play. Yeah. That is just ridiculous. The kind of pressure we can get on those sacks. And like you said, you could tell they were definitely just, when it came to Chase Young, they were just running away from the other side. After a while, I think it was almost like a Madden spammer. They're doing that little out pass to the running back over and to the right side, over and over and over. That's how they got down the field for that before he threw it to the middle of the field and got an interception. But it was just, if you go back and watch the play, that whole drive was just passes to that running back going, over pursuit, because they had to use what we were doing against us because the pass rush and the pursuit was just so on point. And coming back against those Giants, after we go into a bye week, not to get too far ahead, but great time, for Montez Sweat to rest up. Great time for Chase Young, obviously, to make sure that his groin is completely healed. And unfortunately, I do believe we did put Gandy Golden on IR. So, but I've been pretty happy with Cam Sims, I think he gets better each and every week. He's one of those guys that, has been on and off our practice squad for the last 2 years. Someone that's, found his way on special teams to make his way on the field to this team this year and has used that role, did great special teams plays, I think, if you recall, the first couple weeks. Not to mention, the way he played yesterday. And I think that Cam Sims can be a great asset to the Kyle Allen if he allows him to be. So I think a lot of positives looking forward, what this team can do. The potential is out there. It's just a matter if we can execute and keep this ball rolling.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think, coming off a bye week to play the Giants, 2 weeks to prepare. We saw what they did against us last week. So, study the game film, get back to it, make sure we don't make the same mistakes. I see good things happening, come week. What would that be? Week 9.
Week 9
as well. But again, it's a little dark and gloomy outside. It's raining, it's cold. I think the weather kind of
the internet gods are after us. If you guys did notice the little boop in there, the internet got us. The Dallas Cowboy fans are out there. Who knows?
Snipping our wires, cutting our wires, trying to trip us up, but they can't hold us down. We're here, baby. But yeah, the weather here, like I said, I think is kind of indicative of what the Cowboys fans are feeling right now. Dark, gloomy, cold, not really know what to do. But again, right here, baby, the sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the food just tastes so great. Life is so good right now when it comes to football, and it has nothing to do with all the bugles getting played. All the bugles. I hope everyone is getting their bugle played, and it's been a solid victory Monday thus far. Now I don't know. I guess we can probably talk this off camera, but since we have a bye week. I don't know if we don't have a preview show to preview.
I know.
Maybe just I don't know if we want to take a bye week or if we'll roll with maybe just kind of a news and notes, quick little.
Maybe we'll do an NFC East preview show because I do believe the Cowboys play the Eagles this week, and then the Giants play. I think the Giants have the bye with us as well.
I can check that real quick here. So the Cowboys and Eagles do play the Giants. Oof, they play the Buccaneers.
Oh, Tom Brady about to light that ass up.
I know that's right.
If you didn't watch that game yesterday, it looks like Tom and Gronk are back. Gronk back. It took a little while, but Tom and Gronk are back, and you're about to add. Well, I guess he won't be there this week, but he'll be there the next week when Antonio Brown is back with that.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody, after the game last night, as far as the Seahawks and Arizona, which I thought the Seahawks were the pride of the NFC. That Tampa Bay team is going to be one to be looked out for. They've got too many weapons on both sides of the ball. Seattle is primarily an offensive team. I think that Tampa Bay's got it all.
Yeah, I agree. Their offense is obviously very good, and I think that defense is a little underrated in how good it is. They lost Vita Vea, their defensive tackle, but yeah, I think that defense is good. That defense was good last year for Tampa Bay. But when you have Jameis throwing 30 interceptions, it's tough to do anything.
In the first 8 games.
Yeah, right. When you got it's tough to get anything rolling, and when you're on the field, over and over and over again. So that's all I got for this week. Joey, you got anything else before we head out?
I just want to let this show go on forever, just so we can relish in the Cowboy victory and what it means to this team right now and how good it feels to be a Washington football team. And guess what, guys? The Redskins might have lost to the Cowboys, but the Washington football team never has. So
that's true. That's true. Washington football team 1-0 all time against the Cowboys. Whew.
Yes, indeed.
Love to see it. One last thing I do want to wrap up with: Ron Rivera finished up his last round of chemo either yesterday evening or early this morning. So shout out to him. I got my Rivera Strong shirt this weekend. It finally came in the mail on Saturday. So he never missed a game, never missed a down. He maybe I've been a little critical of him through this whole process, but I think he wouldn't mind that at all. But shout out to him for finishing his last round of chemo. Hopefully,
we never hated the player, only hated the game.
Yeah, you're right, 100%. So hopefully it's his last round of chemo forever, and he never has to go back and go through this or anything like that. And obviously we keep rooting for him on his journey and his fight as he continues, battle with cancer and hopefully post-cancer and things like that. So shout out to Ron Rivera for wrapping that up and staying strong with this team and kind of ruling with an iron fist early on and not letting up.
Oh yeah, keeping that, staying true to himself and true to his plan.
Absolutely.
We're with you, Ron. Just don't steer us off a cliff.
or into an iceberg.
Yes, or an iceberg, or off a cliff into an iceberg.
Yeah, I guess that'll do it for us here for this week for Victory Monday, October 26th. After we whooped that ass in Dallas, or actually in DC, but we whooped that Dallas ass. I'm sure everybody saw the meme going around of Spice Adams sitting there and said Dallas really flew all the way to DC just to kick a damn field goal. That's all they did. That's all they did. And the only reason they did that, like you say, was because of that long kicker return. But as always, like, rate, review, subscribe on Apple iTunes if you haven't done so yet. Make sure you tell your friends, tell your family. If you're here on YouTube watching for the first time, go ahead and hit that subscription button and ring that notification bell. While I'm on the topic of YouTube subscriptions, let's give a shout out to Joey on hitting 800 subscribers on his other page, on his Madden page. I mean, that's big time. What have you been at? You've been at it for like a year, right? Less than a year?
Exactly. A little over a year. But, yeah, it's a grind. So, hopefully we get this show to that standards one time. So, hey, I appreciate everyone that supports me out there, that supports both shows. Can never do it without people that want to hear this dumb voice. So, thank you guys.
Or see that dumb face.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely that one. But as always, we are allies behind enemy lines right now, holding it down in enemy territory, flying that victory flag, oh so loud and proud, rubbing it in faces left and right, playing our bugles in people's faces. You know what it is, absolutely. Until next week, or until later this week when we come at you with maybe an NFC preview. Check out our Twitter or Facebook. Maybe we'll put out a word of what we're going to do once we figure it out ourselves. Right now, we're just basking in the glory of this victory, and we'll keep it rolling. All right, so until next week, y'all take care.